After that, he will become an employee. That C will go up. He will be an employee. I understand when he is a contractor he would get a C beside his name or contractor, but once he is full-time it is just his name. It is pretty easy. Only the thing is, I know contract and date we have to use perfectly and execute. That is it simple. So what would the task be at that point? That is time for converting an employee. Convert employee. In a long time. I forget in a long time, so I was not into. But the BP is simple. Yeah, default BP will be there. What happens here? You do not need to go and trigger all those BP. Those BP will trigger. Once you execute that step, that BP will be triggered. So let us see BP convert. See simple logic when you transfer an employee. We have done it just now. But we tried to send an employee transfer, promote a job chain. If it is contractor, contingent worker, that BP will trigger. If it is international transfer onboarding, that BP will trigger. So I worked on that. That is where I explained very clearly. What you are asking, that contingent worker BP will be triggering actually. So this I had worked, so that is where I explained. So changeover? Other than that I did not know some changeover, but I have a knowledge. That is where I explained those are. Default BP. No need to worry. You just have to follow the steps in the BP, and you will be able to do it. Yeah, it is very easy. I mean those I would say contingent worker. BP is not very easy. You might face only challenges in changeover, really okay. That is so not this one very easy. That is what it actually is. So the simplest scenarios and tenant part 1 will explain. So can I explain one of these scenarios? If they ask me what are the challenges that you have faced, or yeah, you can explain actually this one right now. We explained? Yeah, whatever the complicated, the first 3 scenarios that you have mentioned. Yeah, actually, you can take up and explain that is a good idea. See, based upon the situation you see, they will tell you few things and they will ask you. You need to frame and take that opportunity and convert that opportunity into a real time. You are in real time only. You should only think that I am a real time man. You have to have 10 years experience. That you need to fix in your mind. Maybe the person whom I am interviewing, I mean the person who is interviewing you, he might be having 10 years experience, but your experience is limited. But in that limited you are exposing everything, whatever the knowledge you have, representing everything. That is it suppose. If the interviewer is not satisfied, no problem, that is okay, you can go for another interview. I have given my best. So yeah, no, I am telling you, it depends on the interview. So you will get a lot of experience, different experience. So sometimes it is very easy, sometimes it is a bit tough. So again, it depends. So no need to worry on that. Actually, now I will explain you a little bit on the tenant. Okay. So what I will explain about our company, how we follow. That I will explain at the end. Also, if you can give me a little bit overview about the ticketing system or the tickets, how would that work? Or if I have to let them know that I have worked on the tickets as well, because if I am putting 2 years of experience, I think yeah, sure. I would want to add that as well in my resume. Yeah, sure, so you can. Okay, I will come to that. So, as you know, in the tenant there will be implementation, right? Like this implementing tenant will be like a development tenant. I mean all end-to-end testing. User-accepted UT will be done here, okay. And this implementation. Yeah, user-accepted testing. I mean these business users. They will come and test the functionality, whether the functionality is working or not, and they will validate how to do and make sure everything is correct. If everything is correct, then if there is any issues, these people will actually suggest and fix the issues. That is where this implementation then fix all the issues in the implementation. So do we have any versions or any names for this implementation tenant? Or it depends on the customer to customer. Okay, so every customer is having just a moment. I will put my chart here. Okay, yeah. So every company they follow. Particular, they will be having something like P1, P2, P3, P4. They follow this, and they will let you know which is implementation tenant. You do not need to worry or something, okay. Which is implementation tenant, and you know as sandbox tenant. I will explain. It is like the futuristic releases. So all these future releases which are coming in work, they will put in the sandbox tenant. Okay, so every year we will push this updates first in sandbox. Preview tenant. Okay. 2 months before the actual release is being sent out. So every year, March and September, 2 releases will be there. Okay, and they will test here and here. Only implementation team, the project team, and people who are actually involved in the project can only log in. Everybody cannot log in. Okay, in sandbox. And as you know, production tenant, all the users in the company can log into production tenant, the users, the employees, whoever it is. Workday means production tenant. It is a live tenant with real data. You cannot do any testing in production. Okay, make sure you cannot do any testing in production. Tenant. And what happens again like this? The tenants will be there, but the thing is there is no testing in production. Tenant. So can we say that there are 3 environments: production, tenant, sandbox, and implementation? Yeah, I will explain you a little further how our company actually does. Suppose, let us assume, that there is one problem. Is there in the tenant? They want to test it actually. So what they will do is they will go to implementation tenant, and they will fix few things. Suppose the notification is not going everything. So for that they will test actually everything in the implementation, so that testing will be done. Whether the notification is getting correctly or not. Everything will check. So once everything is checked again, they will do same thing in the testing tenant, so that means testing is different. Implementation tenant is different. First is implementation. I mean development almost like this. So next is testing. So we test everything there, also actually the development. Whatever they have done, they can send that configuration to production tenant like how they will do migration. So whatever the configuration they will do, simply those they can actually send to production, but they will test everything in the testing tenant. Then they will move it to sandbox tenant before a week, and the clients they will give one document. They will document everything. So usually this sending moving to production actually senior people will do, and, moreover, there is a planning, a lot of things are done, documentation, everything. And they will fix on timing, and they will do like migration from testing tenant to as I said, how they will move. They will do migration by using the tools, like advanced loads or object transporter. By using that, we will get an option like target tenant, source tenant, I want to send from this to that, or you can simply go to a particular configuration job profile, or something you assume the job profile is there.